Alright, Shalom, Shalom, Israel. Coming back with another video, giving all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ. Shalom, Shalom. And as you can see, the topic is about the plague that the Most High has put out there on the Africans, right? Right, which are the Egyptians. Bear with me. So it says here, like a biblical plague, locusts swarm East Africa, laying waste to crops and livelihoods. Now, Africa is Egypt, right? So the same plague that the Lord put on the Egyptians back then, he's doing it to the current day Egyptians again in these last days to show you that, I could do what I want and the Most High got power, man. Right? And also he's showing you he requires things that were done in the past and that there is no new thing under the sun. Right, so I'll probably read a little bit of it. It says, I can't say that. Adbi Ale had never seen anything like it, which is a lie. Neither had anybody else here in the tiny town of Beer in northern Somalia. With the cloud hovering over her farm about a mile away, Alia and several of her children ran to investigate. As they got closer, they could make out the whirring wings and the rigid torsos no longer than a finger. We saw them before they landed, LA recalled Slakia. For the next week, she and several of her children used clothing, sticks, and anything they could find to fend off the invaders, but eventually they could only watch as the insects devoured every green leaf in sight, including all 14 acres of sesame and beans they planned to sell this season. So these locusts, they eating everything, man. Which ultimately they about to cause a famine. I'm not gonna read no more. Y'all can read the rest, Could care less what these Africans gotta say. They getting put to death. According to Zephaniah 2:12, they're gonna be killed by the sword, and who cares about them? But I brought this up just to show you that the Most High is doing things that happened of old, right? Now, this is Exodus. This is the exact chapter and verse where Egypt was smitten by the plague of the locusts. Now, the Lord put various signs and plagues on Egypt so that Pharaoh can let the Israelites go, but he refused. Ultimately, because the Most High hardened his heart, then the Lord just kept putting plagues on them to multiply his name, and then eventually, Pharaoh had to let him go. But this was one of the plagues that happened to the Egyptians, which are the Africans, Hamites. Exodus 10:14, and the locusts went up, and the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coast of Egypt. So now these locusts were all over Egypt. So why, I already exited out, but why did they say they've never seen this before in this town? And that's a lie. That's Esau lying, man. Right? When you go to the scriptures, you see that Esau is a liar, right? And we seeing, this reminds me of precept, but we see in these last days that the Most High is revealing the things of Esau, man. Their secrets, their so-called secrets. Now, this is Obadiah 1:6, and it says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Because you go into the scriptures and you see that Esau is a liar, man. You discover his lies through the scriptures. If you're not looking for, if you don't go in the scriptures, you can never discover the hidden things of Esau, which is the so-called white man, right? This is the one true light right here, man. This is the only flashlight that works. Right, all these other doctrines, it's the flashlight with no batteries. But this book right here, this is the flashlight with the batteries, and they got the backup batteries and the backup and the backup. So you always gonna have light when you got these scriptures, right? So I'm gonna read it again. Exodus 10:14, and the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coast of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall be such. So the locust that's out there in Egypt right now in Africa, it ain't nothing compared to the locust that was out there in the time of Pharaoh, man. Pharaoh seen worse, right? Right now they're in Africa, their skies are pretty much covered with locusts, in most parts. And, it's a problem. They eating all the food and, the crops and stuff. Imagine back in the time of Pharaoh, man. It was worse. Those locusts, as soon as the locusts came, they probably done ate up all the crops in that same hour, man. Right? Now, this is Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. So the thing that has been is it. Slaki. It is that which shall be. So those locusts was a plague out there in Egypt back in the time of Pharaoh, and now it's a plague again. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. So how they said that they've never seen this before, that happened already. That been happened. The ancient Egyptians, they been done seeing this, and they seen worse, man. Right? This is Ecclesiastes 3:15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. So, like again, I said, the scriptures is saying these things done happened already. It was ordained to happen again. This been ordained from the beginning to happen again, right? So, and it says that which hath been is now. So that happened back then during the time of Pharaoh, thousands of years ago, and now it's happening again in 2020. And that which is to be hath already been, and Yahweh requireth that which is past. So the Most High required, these locusts to come back into Egypt again. They happened in the past, and the Most High required it to happen again now, right? So again, these things are all done and made manifest through the Most High, right? Now, this isn't going to be long at all. This is just, I'm just showing you that the plagues that's happening in Egypt right now, this is a plague that happened before, right? Now, this is Luke 21:11, and this is, prophecy or prophecy on what's to happen in the last days. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. And right now, there's earthquakes happening all over. Even in places that don't see earthquakes, they getting earthquakes. And famines, the locusts out there. And also, when you go to 2nd Ezra 6:22, with the full store, the sown places being unsown, and the full storehouses being found suddenly empty. Paraphrasing, you go to the stores, some places don't got a lot of things, right? So this is famine, right? And pestilence, which is disease, viruses like the coronavirus, right? The bird flu. There's another virus out there. It's called, Slocky. It's called something with an H. I forgot. But, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. And these locusts, that's a great and fearful sign from heaven, because the people are fearing these locusts, and they acted like they've never seen it before. But this happened already, and it's eating all their crops. So ultimately, they know soon they're not about to have no food, and that's a big problem. Right? So ultimately, this is done by the Heavenly Father. That's why you got to respect the Most High, and you got to fear Him, man. If you fear the Most High, you got true knowledge. Because look what He's able to do. He's able to send locusts to your land and allow them to eat up all your food and leave you with nothing, and you can't do nothing about it, right? Hebrews 10:31, and it says, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God, which it is. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Most High. Now, these Egyptians, which y'all call them Africans, they are in the hands of the Most High, and His hand is slowly closing in on them, man. His hand is almost fully closed, man, right? It's getting to that time, right? This place is finished. If you don't see that, I don't know what to tell you. We say it all the time. We say it over and over and over. We like a broken record, right? And we keep getting fixed, and then we breaking again. And y'all still don't get it. Y'all still don't get it. You don't know. It don't matter how many times we bring these precepts out. 2/3 is just not going to get it. But you're going to know the same will know it by death, paraphrasing, man. Right? So you can loathe and despise His law now and despise the words of the Most High now, but you're going to know it after death, right? So again, it says, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. So it's not going to be a good thing if the Most High grab you up in His hands. The Most High, when He grab you up in His hands, He going to yoke you up, as you can see in China, Italy, and even here in Babylon. right? Babylon has surpassed Italy and China for coronavirus cases, right? And China had the most cases all over. They the first ones to get it. And Babylon just now got it, last month? And already they toppled all the other countries in cases. So this place is getting yoked up, right? Along with the Egyptians and that plague with the locusts out there, right? Now we're going to end it with one more precept. This is Revelation 22 and verse 13. And it says, I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. So if you're not looking to seek the Most High, I don't know what you're looking for, because he said, I'm the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. So the Lord is the first and the last. And he's doing all these things in these last days, man. The Lord is creating these evils. The Lord is putting out these plagues out here, right? These things are all done by the Most High. And if you're not going to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, this is a precept for you. 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Oh, sorry, I didn't put Ezra's. Right, this 2nd Ezra's 15 and verse 14. It's my last precept. Sorry, I actually want 4, my bad. Well, actually, we could get that. That's the spirit. 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 14, and it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, because this world is finished. So the Lord said, destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. Now, this is my last precept. Right? 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 4. And it says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So if you being unfaithful to the Most High, you're going to die in your unfaithfulness. Right? So that being said, I'm going to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh, which the world calls God, and Yahweh Shai, which the world calls Jesus Christ. Shalom.